Hi, everybody, and welcome back into a regularly scheduled Binghamton Black Bears Coaches Show. We're here at Tully's on the Vestal Parkway for our penultimate show of the regular season. Joining us tonight, head coach Brant Sherwood. And, Coach, I know you missed the air hockey tournament and got to, unfortunately, miss Jacob Shankar mow down the competition. Big. Oh, wow, some boo birds. Yeah.
He's got a lot of rat in him.
First off, this is going to tie back into the air hockey tournament. Have you ever seen The Longest Yard, the remake with Adam Sandler?
Yes, I have.
Okay, you know
fantastic
that
movie.
His character, Paul Crewe, went to jail for point shaving in pro football. You remember that part?
Yes, I do.
Okay, it's a good thing that was a movie because Dominic Tomei would be accused of the exact same thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Dom was point shaving in the championship
integrity
game.
of the game.
Yes,
Didn't expect that
true.
from such a good character guy.
I know.
Unquote.
I can make fun of Dom just a little because he did chicken out of being on the broadcast with us on Saturday night. But big thanks to Emerson Emery, who joined us on Friday night while we were up in Indiana. Emerson did a great job.
He crushed it.
Filling in, and I think Cole's a little bit worried that Emerson's gunning for his job. At least that's the text message that I got. But a lot of people said Emerson did a great job, and hopefully, later on this season, we can have some more players on the broadcast when we're on the road again. It really provides a extra insight to the game. But holy cow, here we are, second to last Tully show of the season, 43 5-2 on the year, 128 points. You can tie the record that you had last year. We all know how that one ended come playoff time, but what a journey it feels like it's been, like a marathon almost, and you're coming down on the home stretch here this season.
Yeah, I mean, it goes by fast, but super proud of how these guys have played this season. There's ups and downs throughout the year. We had a little skid in January, but these are kind of the things you look back on when playoffs come about, and you just rely on those experiences to, get you through some little adverse moments during the playoffs. So, yeah, that's what we're gearing up for.
Binghamton is currently in first place in the Empire Division. They've actually already won the Empire Division. Still with a little bit of work to do as they are tracking down the #1 overall seed for what would be the second consecutive year. Can't do it on Friday night, but maybe with some help they can do it on Saturday as well, as they're currently vying with the Athens Rock Lobsters for that #1 overall seed. Also, the Moccasins aren't too far behind the Rock Lobsters as well. Done playing the Continental Division this year. And one thing that we actually haven't really got to bring up, and maybe I'm looking too far ahead, but take the year in review against the teams from, typically the South. How would you assess that the team did against the other division this season?
I mean, I think we did really well. We had a wake-up call with Athens when they first came to us in November, but had a great response on Saturday night and, really lit the lamp, I'd say. But, in January, we kind of had a depleted roster, and we went 1-1 against PD, and then we dropped 2 against Carolina, but they're all tight games, Bounces could go either way, but overall, I thought it was successful against the Continental Division. Yeah.
Have you started to look at who the potential opponent could be for the Black Bears in the first round? We know who's on the schedule for the rest of the regular season. I know a few dates are circled, coming up, some big nights remaining in the home portion of the schedule, but going into the playoffs, I should say, going to be the 1 seed, going to be taking on the 4 seed. And at this point, realistically, it's either Topeka, Blue Ridge, or if Danbury gets hot at the right time right now and kind of runs the table for the rest of the way, it could still be the Hat Tricks.
Yeah, I really believe in taking it day by day and just keeping the process as is. You never want to look too far ahead, but I will tell you, I watch a lot of hockey, and I watch a lot of Federal League hockey, so I do catch their games. I catch some Southern games. I was watching the PD Monroe game on Sunday when, there's not too much on TV, so I'll throw that on in the background, kind of see what they're doing, see what they're about, who their top players are and whatnot. So it's, you got an eye on it, but you just try to focus on yourselves and focus on the day at hand.
Now that the Black Bears have, I don't want to say finish because I could be wrong and you have another trick up your sleeve, but essentially they've made their selections with the college signees at this point. Obviously, there's a lot more players on the ice, a lot more people in the locker room stalls going around. What does that add for you guys at this point of the season, having some fresh faces in the locker room and out there with the guys during practice?
It adds internal competition. So first and foremost, it raises the level of our practices, and everyone's competing for a job out there. So, there's only so many with 10 forwards, 16, 2 goalies in the lineup every night. So, yeah, the competition rises, and then it's good to kind of have that safety blanket of reinforcements going into playoffs. We know that, if some of our top dogs go down, we have guys to step in there and, live up to that next man up mentality.
That's awesome to hear. One of those new guys we're going to hear from is goaltender Brandon Shantz. We're going to hear from him a little bit later on in the show. Talk about his first start on Sock Out Cancer Night with the Black Bears, what it's like growing up in San Antonio, falling in love with hockey, and then making a visit up to Plymouth State. Sound familiar, Plymouth State?
Yeah, I had a freshman year up there. We were reminiscing about, floats on the Pemmy and Hong Kong fish bowls, all sorts of fun stuff at Plymouth. It's an amazing hockey school. They have an amazing coach, and what a place to finish up 4 years of collegiate hockey.
Well, we're going to be very excited to hear from Brandon in just a little bit. One thing I wanted to speak on Coach's interest, and also our dear friend, season ticket holder, Booster Club member, and also sometimes off-ice official, Mr. Jeff Bartlett. Buffalo Sabres, red hot right now.
Yeah.
And I know that you've been talking about them. Sabres are second place in the Eastern Conference, leading the Atlantic Division right now, gearing up for what could be an amazing playoff run for the Sabres and breaking that playoff drought.
Man, I'm just happy to see Buffalo have some success. You've seen it with the Bills for the past few years, but it's so cool, and it's pretty neat how it came about, because I think there's a secret sauce to hockey teams, and it's what goes on in that locker room. The chemistry in the locker room, how the guys get along, are they having fun, do they enjoy each other's company? And I think that's a big factor to their success. And I think it's something that we have in our locker room. We have the saying, good guys only, and all it took the Sabres to kind of get out of their 15-year drought was to kind of have some beers and hash it out, and honor some commitments to each other. So it's been a fun ride for Buffalo, and I'm happy to see that they're gonna get back in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, feels like 06 a little bit. That two teams, Buffalo, your team, Carolina, my team, at the top of their divisions. I think it could end up being hopefully a great NHL playoff season as well. And then the first round of the NHL playoffs is must-watch television. I know we just had March Madness this past weekend. We were watching on the bus Thursday and Friday while we were traveling out to Indiana, and then we were able to catch some of the tail-end games Saturday and Sunday as well. Just incredible time for sports this time of year. I always said March and April are the best 2 months of the year for sports. I did have somebody ask me before you walked in the door today how your bracket was doing this year. Is your bracket busted already?
It probably is. We did it online this year, so honestly, I don't know how to log in and check on it, but Jeets is giving me a thumbs down, and he's saying it's not too good. I ended up picking UConn to win, so hopefully they're still in it. They're still kicking, but yeah, there's a ton of good teams out there, and just goes to show you, one game playoffs, man. Anyone can win. They lace them up the same, and yeah, it's you got to bring your A game and see who the dogs are.
Shout out High Point, North Carolina school. That was insane to watch on the bus, and a live reaction for that. I know me and Dan Weber at the hockey game Thursday night when we were in Columbus. Once the Blue Jackets have kind of decided the outcome of that game, I would say we kind of caught ourselves watching VCU in North Carolina. a little bit more once it was like 5-3. But want to say a big thank you to our friends at the Binghamton Hockey Booster Club who donated dinner on Thursday night for us at a beautiful Italian restaurant out in Columbus, Ohio, and also got us tickets to the Blue Jackets versus Rangers game as well. It was a great time being with everybody in the stands, sharing in those experiences and, seeing the game from a different standpoint where we were sitting. You see the whole play develop. And you really can, dissect what's going on. Trocheck's shorthanded breakaway to start off after Shesterkin, what felt like the first 8 minutes was just standing on his head.
He was, yep.
Keeping the Rangers in the game for the time being. But it's just really lets you, appreciate what the guys do, on their ice. You can see that, they're trying to emulate the same things in some of the systems that's going on. But great time out there in Columbus, Ohio. And I know you and Coach Q had a great experience as well with him catching up with a former teammate, but just great hospitality from the Booster Club and then also the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah, it was awesome. So, first and foremost, thank you to our amazing Booster Club. They're the best Booster Club in pro hockey. And, we're lucky to do those things and lucky for them to back us up and, go out for team dinners, let the boys have some fun, have an NHL experience. It was absolutely amazing. And little side note to that, I don't really give the guys the green light the night before a game, and we gave them the green light, and the boys played pretty well for, having a couple pops the night before a game and ended up winning 6-0 against Indiana. So proud of them for showing up like men the next day. But, the fact that, Coach Quinville could get us down in the locker room with his buddy Provorov, and then former Binghamton Senator Aaron Johnson, John Brown knew as well. So we got to get the full tour down there with you as well, Brooksy. And what an amazing facility. They showed us great hospitality. But, yeah, thank you to the Columbus Blue Jackets and our Booster Club. What an amazing experience for our team.
Definitely something I will not forget. My roommate from college is from Columbus, Ohio, and he's a huge Blue Jackets fan. And so I was giving him updates left and right while we were down there in the locker room, sending him some pictures.
What do you think was the coolest part of the locker room?
Ooh, wow. The actual room itself is very state-of-the-art with 3D signs that I really loved. The weight room,
pretty sweet. Yeah.
Pretty sweet. The fact that it has that little strip of turf, that way they can do some agility drills, and sled pushes in the gym.
It's a great warm-up area. I think we're gonna try to do the same thing with our gym, open it up more, get some more space, and our Booster Club's helping us with that as well. They got us a couple new machines in there. We're very lucky to have them. I honestly, you're probably gonna agree with me, but seeing that Johnny Gaudreau stall was pretty sweet. How they leave it as is, and how he's an integral part of that locker room still.
I think it's really cool to see that in person, and I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but you see it on television for a Blue Jackets game, or in the latest case on the national stage for the Olympics, and it might be a bad thought to have, but sometimes you think oh, they're doing this up for television, for a feel-good story. But it's really nice to see that it is 100% actually there. The same hat with all the scuff marks and dirt on it is hanging in that stall. And
there's an aura. There's an aura to that stall when you walk in. You just automatically look at it and you start counting your blessings that you get to wake up each and every day and live your life. So super cool. I was scrolling through social media and I saw they keep his sticks on the bench too, which I thought was pretty neat as well.
I did not notice that. That is neat. And then something that probably flies under the radar with that locker room situation is the fact that they just have protein powder dispensers on the wall that you literally just grab a bottle post game, you go, and then you just hit it and it just fills like it's a soda. It automatically has a set amount that it's going to put in there, and if you have to do a double helping, you just press it twice and it gives you twice so much. I thought that was really cool. And then also how humble hockey guys are. I told you this when we were walking out, is, we're standing there talking to Ivan Provorov and, AJ, and every single player for the Blue Jackets or coach, member of the staff, walked through our conversation, and they just like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, hey, excuse me, I'm just I'm just coming right through. Even though, like, we're in their house.
They're superstars, and they're showing great
really
hospitality
neat.
And just being friendly when they just got off work and they're probably traveling somewhere the next day and super busy, and they take a little time out of their day to give a head nod or a smile. It's the National League, man. It's the most professional league there is.
It is. Captain of the Blue Jackets, Boone Jenner, tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, I just got to get through real quick." And I was like, "Oh, I'm in your way." That's exactly how I felt in that situation. But once again, big thank you to the Booster Club, for allowing us to have that opportunity. Big thanks to the Blue Jackets as well for allowing us to go down into the room afterwards as well and see that. So that's really neat. Looking at the Indiana series, season sweep over the Sentinels, and it's fair to say the Sentinels are having a much different season, worrying about many different things that the Black Bears are worrying about right now. What would you think is your takeaway from the 2 games against the Sentinels this weekend?
I hate to say it, but we can't have an arena like that in our league. Like, I might get in a little trouble for that, but that's what they struggle with. I think they have a great coaching staff. I think Everett Thompson and Cam Yarwood and Nick Wright, they're doing a phenomenal job with the players they have. I think those guys work tremendously hard, and they do all they can, but there's a certain requirement that you need with a facility to make it feel like a professional environment. And I give credit to our guys. They walk into this rink and they're kind of like, what the hell's going on type of deal. And it's no knock on them, but we need kind of the minimum requirements of like a 2,000 seated arena where it feels a certain way, where you have privacy in the away locker rooms, where you can go to the bathroom without standing next to the fans. So it's amazing what they've done with what they have. I'm thoroughly impressed that they have a buy-in from their players like they do. Well, sorry to throw you for a ringer there, Bruce.
You're good. It wasn't the answer I was expecting, but we can work with it here. Coming off the weekend, you have 2 players who are at 90 points and 89 points on the season. Stubbs with 90, Bondarenko with 89. Stubbs technically in his first full year with the Black Bears because he joined the team late a little bit last season, and then Bondarenko in his first season with the Black Bears as well. I know we talked about it very early in the season once Kirkby went down with an injury at the beginning of the year, how big those 2 guys were going to be along with Matt Jansen stepping up this year. But has your expectation of them just essentially been like blown away by how well they've played and gelled together this year?
No. They played together in Columbus when I was assistant coach in there, and I've played with Stubbsy. I've seen Bondo across the way when I used to play against him, and they've always been phenomenal players. I think every year is different. Guys, they might have a little better puck luck or whatnot, but I think they've earned everything they've got this year, and super proud of how they've handled themselves on the ice and leaders off the ice. So it's been a great year, and it just goes to show you that they've been 2 staples in the lineup, but when guys go down, other guys are stepping up, and that's exactly what's happening. These guys they've stepped up all year, and it's been a memorable season for those 2.
Absolutely, and I sit next to Ivan Bondarenko on the bus trips, and we were talking on the way to the rink on Saturday, just based off, 6-0 the first night. Obviously, it's very easy to get complacent. You just dominated a team in an arena that is not up to, the pro standards. And then how do you not, fall behind in that one, chasing the game, things like that. And then I did pose the question to him. I was like, well, hey, we're coming down the home stretch. Are you thinking about, maybe sitting out a game, making sure you're ready to go for playoffs? pretty soon, once Black Bears clinch the number 1 overall seed, we're going to knock on the wood there. Not too much left to play for. He's like, oh, not pulling me out of the lineup. He's like, sure, he's just going to have to drag me out of the lineup for me not to play. And just neat little tidbit right there. Like, goes to show you, like, the competitor he is. He wants to play all 56 games this season. Him and Scott Ramekers are the only 2 players who can do it this year. So really love that from Bondarenko. First year with the team. He's like, yes, like, going to play every single chance that he gets. And, you know, he's going to, you know, he's got a goal in mind. He told me what it is, and he says he hopes he and Stubbsy get there at the same time, you know, in true Bondo fashion.
Yeah, I'm sure it's hit 100. You know,
Yeah.
you want to see triple digits, like when you're looking at your stat line and stuff. But ultimately, I think these guys, they're here to win a championship, and that's the first priority. But yeah, these individual accolades that come along with it is it's pretty cool, and it's something to be proud of. Yeah, it's I love the durability on Bondo. I guess you wouldn't expect that with, you know, his frame and whatnot. A little bit more with Scotty. He's a little bit more durable. He's got a little cushion on him. But we almost ended up taking Scotty out of the lineup, and he had a huss and fuss up in Watertown, so we let him play again. So thanks for the inside scoop. We'll keep Bondo in the lineup because I don't want to drag him out.
There you go. Probably wouldn't be fun no matter who it is, but this part of the season, you got to get your college guys in, play games. Is it safe to say we're going to see a more healthy helping of the younger guys, the guys who need the eligibility to be qualified for the postseason the rest of the way here?
I'm going to make sure every college player gets their 5 games so they're qualified. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of the main priority, and you know, it's mixing and matching, but then there's sometimes injuries and stuff like that. Like, guys are going to need to step up at all costs. So, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Friday night, Black Bears return home against the Danbury Hat-Tricks. It's Special Olympics night, presented by our friends over at the Broome County Sheriff's Office. If you want tickets, you need to do so, like, right now. Like, go online, Ticketmaster.com, BinghamtonBlackBears.com, click on single game tickets, and it'll take you there as well. Or tomorrow morning, you can call the office, 607-722-7367. One of our ticket reps will talk to you, and then we'll be able to get you the tickets. We're less than 500 remaining for Friday night's game already, so looking for another sellout on Friday in Binghamton. You know, springtime means a lot of people are coming out to the hockey games, making for great hockey weather. So, Coach, anything else you wanted to say before we let you go, and Brandon Chance will come and join the show?
No, I'm just excited to hear Brandon talk and hear about his background. Yeah.
All right, well, that is the voice of Black Bears head coach, Brant Sherwood. We will take a timeout, come back, and it's one of our newest netminders, goaltender Brandon Chance, will join the show right after this.
The Black Bears are back on home ice Friday, March 27th at 7 p.m. as they take on the Danbury Hat-Tricks. Help us celebrate Special Olympics night presented by the Broome County Sheriff's Office, and get your tickets now at BinghamtonBlackBears.com.
Attention fans, looking sharp is a power play. Studio 11 Barbershop, located in Endicott, New York, is your go-to for fresh fades, sharp cuts, and all-star style. Visit our website or call the number below to book, or simply just walk in. Studio 11 Barbershop, where champions get their cut.
Are you looking to get your taxes done? JMK Tax Solutions is located at 1152 Vestal Avenue in Binghamton. They offer tax, bookkeeping, and payroll services and are currently accepting new clients. Experience the new way to watch your Black Bears play all season long at home and on the road, free on YouTube. Black Bears are back on home ice Friday, March 27th at 7 p.m. as they take on the Danbury Hat Tricks. Help us celebrate Special Olympics Night presented by the Broome County Sheriff's Office and get your tickets now at binghamtonblackbears.com.
Attention fans, looking sharp is a power play. Studio 11 Barbershop, located in Endicott, New York, is your go-to for fresh fades, sharp cuts, and all-star style. Visit our website or call the number below to book, or simply just walk in. Studio 11 Barbershop, where champions get their cut.
Are you looking to get your taxes done? JMK Tax Solutions is located at 1152 Vestal Avenue in Binghamton. They offer tax, bookkeeping, and payroll services and are currently accepting new clients. Experience the new way to watch your Black Bears play all season long at home and on the road, free on YouTube.
Welcome back in, everybody. Tully's Good Times with Coach Show, and now is the time of the show where we have a very special player guest joining us. It's one of our newest netminders, all the way from San Antonio, Texas. He's Brandon Shantz. Welcome to the show, bud, and glad to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I hate that I'm your second interview. You know, Bob Howard beat me to it on the Power Play post show, but you did a good job on that and looking to have a fun time with you here tonight.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to it. It's a cool place, so thanks.
Well, we're going to go ahead and dive all the way back, and, you know, we're going to think as Brandon as a wee little lad out in San Antonio. You don't hear too many hockey players coming from the state of Texas. Not that it's impossible, but maybe a little bit of an anomaly. What made you fall in love with hockey out there in the Lone Star State?
Yeah, for sure. I grew up in San Antonio, Texas. Not a ton of hockey, like you said, but my dad had a pretty good pro career playing East Coast League, minor league levels for about 12, 13 years. And one of the teams that he played for last was in San Antonio. They were called the Iguanas, the San Antonio Iguanas at the time. But they ended up turning.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. What a name.
Yeah, I know. And it seemed like a really cool. I wasn't obviously born yet, but see videos and photos. They'd get 8,000 people. They'd have dollar beer nights on Fridays. And so anyway, he really enjoyed it. And my dad and the rest of my family is all from Canada, so he loved the no snow and the warm summers, warm winters. So just played there. The team turned into the Rampage in the American League after. But okay. So when he retired, he just stayed, and I was born there and raised by a dad that played hockey. And so I think that's kind of how I found my love for the game.
At the time, for the Iguanas, do you remember who your dad's affiliation was? Like, was it with the? Because looking at the timing wise, the Stars might have still been in Minnesota.
Yeah,
when he was there.
I'm pretty sure that it was called the CHL, the Central Hockey League. Okay. I don't think it was affiliated. I think the lowest it went at the time was the East Coast League. So I would say it was probably like today. It would be on par with the SPHL or the Federal League. Okay. Type of level of hockey. So.
Well, I mean, back then, 8,000 fans, dollar beer night, sounds like an amazing time.
Oh yeah, he has great memories. He was fortunately the captain there for 6 years and had a ball. So still, it's funny. Like when I was little, we used to go to Rampage games, and my dad was retired, and we'd see people wearing his jersey like in the concourse or whatever, and like that was really cool as a kid to see. So
that's amazing. Now, for everybody who's not too familiar with the geography of Texas, what part of the state would you classify the San Antonio area in?
Yeah, I definitely say it's like South Central. So we have a lot of Hispanic roots. San Antonio, it's a really cool city. Great food, great people. But yeah, no, I would probably say that. The Tex-Mex vibe.
I was just about to ask. So as soon as you said great food, so the Tex-Mex is all they say it is?
Absolutely. Any kind of Mexican food, street food's amazing there. Great barbecue. Yeah, no, for sure.
I heard like the street vendors like in that area, like in all of Texas, is like food that you can literally get at sit-down restaurants.
Oh, it's really good. It's fresh, homemade. Usually it's ran by families, and I mean, everywhere you go, they have them. Like downtown on the Riverwalk, there's great food, great street food. Different parks, like floating down rivers. You find it everywhere. So.
Now, how did you get connected with the Dallas Stars program, the youth program, I should say? I know you have a couple of years under your belt with them. Now, was that just a commute for you guys, like from San Antonio to Dallas? What was that like?
Yeah, no. So, like you said at the beginning of the interview, hockey's not really prevalent that much in Texas. It's definitely growing now, especially with the Dallas Stars. But at the time, the Dallas Stars Elite was the only program in Texas that had a AAA team. And so when I turned 14, I ended up going and trying out there, trying to obviously advance my hockey career, and I was fortunate enough to make it. And Dallas was about 6 hours north of San Antonio, so I wasn't a spot that I was able to necessarily commute. So I had to live with a billet family, move away at home from 14, and I was there for 2 years, and amazing experience and great memories and great friendships. But it was definitely a transition. So.
What's it like living with a different family at 14? Now, I know that a lot of our guys have, played juniors and they've lived with billet families, but sometimes they're not living with those families until they're, 17, 18 years old before they go to college, which is a whole different story about the college and the hockey timetable. But going to live with another family at 14, it's got to be a little bit scary for a kid.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was an adjustment. At the time, my dad ended up doing that when he went to go play junior hockey, so he understood. Trying to convince my mom, who grew up in Texas, knew nothing about hockey till she met my dad, was a little bit harder. She thought it was a little bit nuts, and it was nuts. But I knew that my dream was to take hockey as far as I could, and eventually play college and play pro hockey. And my love for the game, and I knew this was a necessary step and sacrifice I was going to have to take. And I mean, it was worth it. So long nights of being homesick or having to go home and visit a few times, but at the end of the day, I knew what I was doing was the right thing. So,
well, doing a little bit of research, looked like you've played a lot of hockey in the Texas, Oklahoma area.
Sure, yeah.
And then also had a year in Minnesota, correct? And then going to Plymouth State, which is New Hampshire, right? I got all three of those
everywhere,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So going across from Texas to Minnesota to New Hampshire, what's the biggest culture shock that you've gotten so far between those stops?
Yeah, no, for sure. Every spot is different in many ways. Something that I've been blessed to be able to experience. Different cultures, different people. Minnesota was a great stop. I got to play my senior year of high school there, played high school hockey in Minnetonka, and that was a culture shock because coming from Texas, playing hockey was kind of seen as different. A bit odd, where football was king. Football's religion down there, and you get to Minnesota and it's flipped. Being on the hockey team was something that was really, really a cool experience. You play for your community, so I really like that. Midwest people are super friendly, super outgoing, and then playing junior hockey a bunch of places after that, and then eventually going to New Hampshire. New Hampshire was awesome. I would say people are a little bit more reserved, especially in Plymouth. It's a mountain town, so if you're living in Plymouth, New Hampshire, you have something to do with the school, or you have a cabin on a lake somewhere. So it's a little bit more quiet, a little bit more slow pace, which I really enjoyed, but I'd probably say that's maybe the differences.
It's like one or the other when you're out there in Plymouth?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You see the people that live in the area that we would get 1,000 people every game, pack our arena. It was an amazing experience playing there for 4 years, and seeing everybody there had something to do with the school, or even like the town people that would come in and visit us, and it was really, really cool.
Speaking of experiences and, over the years of your time at Plymouth, I wish I had told EJ this to get it ready before so we could put it on the YouTube feed for everybody watching back at home. But I was looking through, some stats over at Plymouth State, maybe just trying to find, neat little tidbits we could bring up tonight here. Freshman year, Brandon takes his headshot with a baby face. No beard whatsoever.
Yeah, for sure.
And then now we got this thing going on here. What made you decide to grow a beard?
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily a decision. It's a lot of maintenance to try to shave it. I guess with some age, the beard grows a little bit faster, so kind of adopted it and accepted it. And I think that's probably the direction that went. But
it was pretty neat though to see. It had your headshot year by year. posted on the website. You can just see the beard start to fill in a little bit more
Sure,
every
yeah.
single year, and then your hair gets a little bit longer, starts to get
for
a little
sure.
bit more curls, things like that. So that's really neat. What led you to go to Plymouth State?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said earlier, my goal and dream was to play college hockey at the NCAA level, and playing around junior hockey, that's what you're doing that for, is hopefully to get looks. And I remember Coach Craig Russell reached out to me at Plymouth State University and, told me how amazing the campus was, and, the fans, the hockey, and the education. And doing my own research and talking to some of the players, I know I went and visited, and I just fell in love with the campus. Like I said, it's a little mountain town, so it's a really tight community feel. Some of the schools that I was looking at were in bigger cities like Boston or Minneapolis. And I like the little quieter feel, and you could go hiking, you could go, fishing on weekends before the snow, and, you feel like the town is the school, and it's just a really cool vibe. So,
What would you say the estimated size of Plymouth State would be, enrollment?
Yeah, it's about 4,000 students.
Okay.
Undergrad, and then there's probably 500 doing their MBA program. So probably 4,500, and I think the town population is 6,000. So that's including the students. So
Including the students.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
everybody that lives in Plymouth has something to do with the school, like I said. And it's the only town within probably 30 minutes. Concord is probably 30, 40 minutes away. So.
Okay. Well, that's neat. So let's talk about your trip to the Black Bears.
Sure, yeah.
How'd that come about? Did you reach out to Coach Sherwood? Did he reach out to you? How did that story come to be?
Yeah, Coach reached out to me. I wanted to look to make my start and to get my feet wet into pro hockey, and he reached out and said, just talking about how amazing the organization is, and after talking to him for a little short time, and also we reminisced over that he went to Plymouth State University too his freshman year, which was cool. It's the hockey world is so small. You meet people from everywhere that know somebody or that you're good friends with. So that was a really cool connection. And just doing some of my research and seeing how amazing the fans were, and talking to some of my friends, Nicholas Poirier. I went to school with 2 years at Plymouth, and he went on and on about how much he loved it here and how amazing the fans were. And I knew that if I wanted a really good pro hockey experience coming out of college, this would be a great spot. So it was an easy decision.
It was cool. Good to hear about Nick Poirier. I was doing some deep diving on your Instagram today, trying to find some topics to talk about, and almost under every photo there's a Nick Poirier comment.
Yeah, for sure. No, he's a good buddy.
That is really neat. Got a start on the road in Danbury. Appeared as a backup on Sock Out Cancer Night. I got that wrong earlier in the show, so that's my fault. -1 on the night, but we didn't have any pictures of you from the road game, so
Sure.
that's what we've been using the entire time. Is from Sock Out Cancer Night. What do you remember about your first pro game?
Yeah, no, it was an awesome experience, obviously. A lot of nerves going into it, in the sense of that, I was just excited for the opportunity. And I know Danbury, it's a really intimidating place to play, having hecklers and warm-ups yelling your name or trying to get under your skin, but it's a fun environment. And no, it was a great experience being able to have these guys play in front of me and, have such a great team help you when you make your mistakes. And no matter how small or big, knowing they have your back, it really alleviates a lot of your nerves and gives you a lot of confidence. So.
Now that you've had some time to get a little situated, a full week of practice, well, actually, Black Bears only had 1 day of practice last week, but now that you've had some time to get situated, what stands out to you about this team that may be different than either your teams at Plymouth State or, playing with the Dallas Stars Elite program?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that all the guys on the team are, you hear about pro hockey. You think maybe the team's not as close, but I think the guys really love each other. That's been really cool, and they've been very welcoming to me. And that's really stood out. In pro hockey, guys come, they go, trades happen. But the fact that this core, hangs out a ton, are really good friends off the ice, it really helps in the locker room during games and out on the ice. They're willing to protect each other. We've already seen that a lot. It's just a really cool vibe. I think that's definitely what sets them apart, and I'm just really lucky to be a part of it.
Oh, that's awesome. A couple of off-ice questions that we had some fans submit.
Yeah.
If you weren't playing hockey and you still wanted to be a pro athlete, what sport would you be playing?
Yeah, no, for sure. So it's probably an easy one, a pro golfer. They seem like they have an amazing life. I'm not very good at golf. I love playing it. So to be able to do that better, but also maybe a side answer, if I count this as a sport, but be a professional poker player would be pretty cool.
Really? You like playing cards?
Oh, I love it. I love them. I don't love playing for a ton of money, but it's I like the game of it, the puzzle of it, and so that would be cool too. Yeah, Cheech is a fan, so.
Okay, I think you're the first person that I've asked that question to in 4 years of this show that says they want to be a pro poker player.
I think golf might be a little bit more stable, but if money wasn't a problem and a little dream, like I know Phil Kessel, that's what he does now after he retired after his long NHL career, and that's pretty cool. So,
just plays poker.
Yeah.
Okay, that's neat. Do you have any? Okay, obviously you like to play cards and you like to play golf. What besides those two things is your favorite hobby?
Yeah, other than just like hanging out with friends and family, honestly, I love going and traveling. A cool little thing that we got to do was my senior year this year for college, our team took a trip to Italy in August. So we got to play some pro teams over there, and that was an amazing experience. So I definitely want to travel more, obviously, when I have a little bit more money to be able to do that. But I guess that and just being outside, love fishing, love hunting, all those good things. So,
question that I just thought of, because you talked about travel, talked about how your dad's from Canada, dual citizenship. Working on it?
I actually have it, which is funny because I remember when I was first born, my dad was filling out the paperwork probably the next day to get me to be a dual citizen, and my mom was confused a little bit, like, why? And he's like, well, if he wants to go play junior hockey up there, he won't count as an import. I was a day old. And my mom was
already
like,
thinking about it. Already thinking about hockey day one.
I believe it's still valid. So,
no, that's awesome to hear. Sounds like we might need to have your dad on the show one time.
No, he's a character.
I think I know where you get it from.
Sure.
So that's really neat. We talked a lot about the guys, living up at Whitney Point and player apartments, things like that. A lot of them either, watch streaming together or they play video games together. Do you have like favorite video games that you like to do, or you like, this is my favorite show, this is the go-to, this is what I'm putting on when I have the choice?
Yeah, no, I don't necessarily play video games a ton. I'm more or less just not really good at them, so I have a hard time playing them and not getting frustrated. But I watch a ton of hockey. I'm a hockey nerd. I no matter what team's playing. I have my favorite teams. I'm an Oilers fan, and I also like Dallas. But I'll watch anything that's on and really seeing the game. But probably other than that, I like TV shows and movies, and I guess I'm more of a couch potato when it comes to that, like watching TV. So.
Okay, interesting thing that I just heard. You said Oilers first, and then
100%.
Dallas. Is that from someone from Texas?
Yes.
The team in Texas is his second favorite team.
Yeah, no, like I said, Canadian family, all from the Edmonton area. So I was raised in a big Oiler fan in a big family, and so that's the team, loyal to the Oil. But if they're not playing, or if Dallas is on a hot streak, I'll root for them. But the Oilers are the first team.
Okay, so second round we see Dallas Edmonton.
Yeah, it's the Oilers.
Okay, all right. Yeah. There you go. I bet you that gets on Q's good side.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. We've talked about that already.
I'm glad that he has another Oilers fan in the locker room. That's just what he needs. Well, Brandon, thank you so much for coming up on the show. This honestly flew by because great conversation. Anything you wanted to say to any of the fans watching at home on YouTube or out in the crowd tonight here at Tully's?
Yeah, no, not much. I just wanted to say I know the guys think the same, but we have the best fans, the best booster club. We got a great experience in Columbus, which was phenomenal. My game in Danbury, even in Indiana, we had fans travel to come watch, which I thought was completely nuts. But that's how die hard they are here, and we feel the love from the fans, and we're just really lucky, and it makes you want to play at your best. And no, it's really cool to be a part of something like this.
I also love how you say no like a typical Canadian does, even though you're full-blown American.
I don't have a Southern accent, if that's what you're wondering.
No, I remember I had an intern who was from Canada when I was working in baseball, and she would answer questions with no. So I hear it right now. That's a good old Canadian boy.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, somewhat dual citizen at least. All right, that is the voice of Black Bears netminder Brandon Shantz. We will take a timeout, wrap up the show when we come back right after this.
The Black Bears are back on home ice Friday, March 27th at 7 p.m. as they take on the Danbury Hat Tricks. Help us celebrate Special Olympics Night presented by the Broome County Sheriff's Office and get your tickets now at binghamtonblackbears.com.
Attention fans, looking sharp is a power play. Studio 11 Barbershop, located in Endicott, New York, is your go-to for fresh fades, sharp cuts, and all-star style. Visit our website or call the number below to book, or simply just walk in. Studio 11 Barbershop, where champions get their cut.
Are you looking to get your taxes done? JMK Tax Solutions is located at 1152 Vestal Avenue in Binghamton. They offer tax, bookkeeping, and payroll services and are currently accepting new clients. Experience the new way to watch your Black Bears play all season long at home and on the road, free on YouTube.
Big thank you to head coach Brant Sherwood and netminder Brandon Shantz for coming on the show here tonight. A friendly reminder, our final Tully show of the season is going to be Tuesday, April 7th. Again, that's Tuesday, April 7th. It's the last week of the regular season. We'll be here. Tully's on the Vestal Parkway at 6 p.m. Brand new announcement, the Black Bears are going to be doing team awards this year, and we need your help to decide one. In case you haven't been looking at your phone while the show's been going on, the Black Bears have posted on all their social media platforms that we are looking for a fan favorite player, and you, the fans, get to dictate who is going to receive that award. So make sure you click the link on social media. It's on Facebook, Instagram, and X. And you can see that at binghamtonblackbears.com as well. So go online, fill out the information, and pick who you think should deserve the fan favorite award for the 2025-26 season. Those will be announced at the end of the year. So make sure you do that before you leave Tully's tonight or before you close out of YouTube if you're watching along at home. Friendly reminder, the Black Bears are at home this Friday night. They take on the Danbury Hat Tricks at 7 p.m. for Special Olympics Night presented by our friends over at the Broome County Sheriff's Office. It's going to be a great night honoring our friends participating in the Special Olympics, also raising money for them as well. If you don't have your tickets, make sure to do so now, binghamtonblackbears.com, or call the office tomorrow morning. We open up at 9 a.m. If you are a season ticket holder, make sure that you purchase your playoff package. The last day to do so is March 31st. Again, last day to purchase the playoff package for season ticket holders is March 31st. All right, I think that just about does it for us here tonight at Tully's. Again, we'll be back here April 7th, live at the arena Friday night for a game against the Danbury Hat Tricks. EJ Worth producing tonight. My name is Brooks Hill for Brandon Shantz, head coach Brant Sherwood, and everybody else with the Binghamton Black Bears. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening, and we will see you at the arena on Friday.